Hello guys, as you can see today, I'm going to be doing a review on the Rapala Shadow Rap. I've been fishing these baits for about 1.5 years now. The reason I started fishing the Shadow Rap was because one morning before school a couple years ago, I caught a muskie. It was 26.8 pounds. My dad told one of his coworkers about it, who has a son who films commercials for Rapala. And he was currently doing a commercial for Rapala all over Ontario, and he decided to come here to my house on the Madawaska River, and he had me go out of my boat and fish with their rods and their baits, and it was actually pretty successful. I caught a lot of fish, including pike and smallmouth bass. I fished a lot of their different jerkbaits and topwater poppers and stuff, but the one that I found the best was the Rapala Shadow Rap. So Aaron decided to give me a couple to keep. I fished them all summer long, caught lots of fish, smallmouth and largemouth bass. Then when fall came around, I found a spot where there was a good number of pike. I caught 21 one day after school, all on the Rapala Shadow Rap. The commercial, by the way, is Rapala The Search. You can look it up on YouTube, you'll see it. I'm the kid in the red hat in the cedar strip boat. So the retrieve I like to use, I normally do 5 quick jerks and then about a 5 to 10 second pause, and then I do another 5 jerks and then that same pattern, so on. So in case you didn't know, there's 3 different types of Shadow Raps. There's the original Shadow Rap, the Shadow Rap Shad, which just came out, and there's also the Shadow Rap Deep. This is the original Shadow Rap. I'd say it's the one that I most frequently use. I've caught smallmouth, largemouth, pike. I missed a muskie on it one time. I think the best time of year to use this bait is the fall, because that's the time of year when the bass are really trying to put the feed bag on to get all fattened up for winter. Also in the fall, I fish a lot for pike with jerkbaits, and this is my favorite jerkbait to use. So let's go see how it looks in the water. It sinks slowly. It's good for fishing depths from 2 to 4 feet of water. Unlike other jerkbaits, they just stop whenever you jerk them. This one does a 180-degree turn to look like a dying bait fish. This is the Shadow Rap Deep. It was the second Shadow Rap to come out. It's good for fishing depths from 4 to 8 feet. I've caught lots of smallmouth on it, a few walleye, but basically it's the same as the regular Shadow Rap, except it goes deeper. So as you can see, this Shadow Rap is pretty much the same as the other Shadow Rap, except it's better for when the fish are staying close to the bottom. So let's take a look at the final bait. It's a little bit different from the other two. It's the Shadow Rap Shad. It was the latest one to come out. I haven't actually used it at all yet, but I hear it's supposed to be even better than the other two for catching bass especially. The Shadow Rap Shad has a little bit of a smaller profile than the normal one. It also runs shallow just like the original, but instead of slowly sinking, it slowly rises. So now I've talked about all 3 Shadow Raps, the original, the Deep, and the Shad. Another thing I want to talk about is the hooks. So the hooks are made by VMC. They're nice and sharp, but the one thing I don't like about them is after catching a lot of fish, they tend to bend and eventually they break, so you have to change them. So those are the original hooks on a jerkbait I haven't even used yet. I've had this one for over a year now. The back hook's still okay, but I had to replace the 2 front hooks. You can get them in 24 different colors. And the reason they're actually called Shadow Raps is because they're designed that they have a kind of flat bottom so that their shadow shows up on the bottom of the water. And so the fish, if they're looking down, they can see it, and then they'll look up and see the actual bait and they'll hit it. So in conclusion, they're a pretty good bait. In Canada, they range in price from about $9 to about $14. I would definitely recommend buying them. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next Thursday in Mexico.